Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's everything you need to know this rush hour of February 17, Monday. I'm Riza Diaz. Jumpstarting today's rush with the Chinese Health Authority reporting over 2,000 new confirmed cases of the novel coronavirus disease over the weekend. That's on top of the 142 deaths from 31 provinces in the country. Now, the majority of the casualties were from the central province of Hubei. This brings the total death toll in China to over 1,600, with the number of COVID-19 cases rising to over 68,000. Now, more than 69,000 people have been infected by the new coronavirus as of this morning, with 1,670 deaths worldwide. Now, recovery seems to be catching up, though, with almost 10,000 people already cured. These data may still be showing large numbers, but a look into daily records show China has been recording a huge decline in the number of COVID-19 cases since Thursday. Likewise, here in the Philippines, 336 persons under investigation have already been discharged, while 159 PUIs are still admitted in various hospitals, most of which are in Metro Manila. However, the health department says it's still too early to whether tell if the outbreak is stabilizing. WHO's Health Emergencies Program Executive Director Michael Ryan praised the solidarity that the people across the globe has shown in this fight against a deadly virus.
I think we all understand viruses know no borders, and we all have vulnerable communities that we need to help, and we need to make diagnostics, we need to make vaccines, we need to make treatments, and we also need to communicate more effectively with our populations as to how they can protect themselves. We need to empower our communities.
Hundreds gathered at Jerusalem's Western Wall on Sunday for a mass prayer amid the ongoing COVID-19 outbreak. According to local media, the prayer rallies was an initiative of the local rabbis and the Jewish community leaders. Despite the improvements in testing PUIs in the country, the DOH continues its strict protocols to contain the deadly coronavirus. Romel Lopez will tell us more.
There is no longer any confirmed case of COVID-19 in the country, at least for now. That's according to the health department. This was after 2 of the 3 who tested positive for coronavirus already recovered. The other case died back in January, the first fatality outside mainland China. Of the persons still under investigation, 386 tested negative for the virus. That includes a 71-year-old Filipino from Region 1 who died not due to the virus but because of a heart attack. The man, as it turns out, had a travel history in Taiwan.
He was confined there in La Union. He manifested with cough. He went to the hospital with cough as a symptom. Final diagnosis was acute myocardial infarction. He also has chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. He doesn't have the virus. He is negative for nCoV. He has comorbidities. He was just classified as a patient under investigation because he had cough and he has that history of travel from Taiwan.
As for the repatriated Filipinos at the Clark New City, 2 of them reported medical concerns, with one having an ear infection, the other one experiencing anxiety.
Anxiety-related symptoms. She's still there in JB Lingad waiting for the coordination and transfer to our hospital in Bataan.
But the health department is facing one more problem. They've only managed to contact half of over 1,000 passengers who had exposure to the 3 confirmed COVID-19 cases in the country.
Pinag-usapan na rin po yan with the other agencies kung saan po tayo po ay nakakita ng mga erroneous na mga detalye. We are still trying to complete the list so that we can trace everybody. And as I've said, that's why we have coordinated with COMELEC and PNP-CIDG.
The health department says they're still preparing for the possibility of a local transmission. For News 5, Romel Lopez. We are One News.
The Philippine government has lifted the COVID-19 related travel ban covering Taiwan, but officials insist it has nothing to do with Taiwan's threat of imposing retaliatory sanctions against the Philippines. Here's the report.
After less than a week, the government has lifted its travel restriction on Taiwan. The Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases made the resolution after a meeting in Malacanang on Friday. in which the IATF expressed satisfaction over Taiwan's protocols in fighting COVID-19.
Number one, the absence of local transmission in Taiwan. And number two, the relatively low volume of travelers from Taiwan to Manila, which is for February of this year just reached 45,000. So kakaunti.
But Duque clarifies the move has nothing to do with Taiwan's threat to impose retaliatory measures, including the cancellation of the 14-day visa-free entry for Filipinos and the revocation of work contracts of OFWs.
Yung amin is purely on public health, public safety, and of course the need to see whether there is a threat or increased risk.
The cancellation of the restriction takes effect immediately, to the relief of tourists like Ella, who traveled to Taiwan last February 9, a day before the ban was imposed.
Hindi ka makapag-enjoy kasi isipin mo yung travel ban, paano ka makaka-uwi.
MECO Chairman Lito Banayo has expressed his gratitude for the IATF's open-mindedness to reconsider the travel ban, which was initially pegged to affect 160,000 OFWs. The Taipei and Economic Cultural Office in the Philippines, or TECO, has welcomed the announcement and has assured the Philippine government that it is working closely with the international community to fight the COVID-19. As for local events, which were cancelled due to the scare, Tourism Secretary Berna Romulo Puyat says these may push through, but with caution.
We agreed we will be implementing a joint circular among the three agencies that pwede naman as long as precautionary measures are implemented. So marami kasing mga LGUs have been canceling their big events, their fiestas.
The palace, meanwhile, says the IATF is now reviewing if restrictions on Macau will be lifted after they have submitted their protocols to prevent potential carriers from entering and deporting their territory.
Here are some of the day's biggest stories from the dailies. Repatriation efforts for over 500 Filipino crew members in the Japan-quarantined Diamond Princess cruise ship are ongoing. Filipino Star ngayon reports that of the 355 passengers that tested positive for the 2019 novel coronavirus, 11 are Filipinos. Scientists are now studying coconut oil as a potential cure for COVID-19. Ateneo Chemistry Professor Fabian Dairit explained that cocoa oil has antiviral agents which could help treat COVID-infected patients. Pangmasa notes that coconut oil was already subjected in studies in treating HIV and the Junin virus, both of which have similarities with the coronavirus. Moving on to another disease previously on watch, the DOH has announced that environmental samples from the Butuanon River in Mandaue City have tested positive for polio virus. Meanwhile, the Philippine Star reports that the 17th case of polio in the country has also been recorded in Cabanatuan City, Nueva Ecija. The case involves a 1-year-old baby boy who showed symptoms of fever and sudden weakness in his left lower limb. As an answer to the supposed congestion at the NAIA, the Sangley Airport in Cavite is now open. But take note, not yet for commercial flights. Ria Fernandez has the story.
The Sangley Airport in Cavite is now open for business. It was just last year when President Duterte ordered for the rehab and utilization of the Sangley Air Base following the supposed congestion at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport. Duterte himself led the inauguration of the airport on Saturday and lauded the efforts of the Transportation Department, particularly that of Secretary Art Tugade.
Look what 700 million can do in the hands of a competent, a bright.
The multi-million overhauled airport will initially cater to general aviation flights and light cargo transport, but eventually, government targets to have international and domestic flight operations in Sangley by 2022 before Duterte steps down from office. He even vowed to take his last flight as president through the new airport. The Cavite provincial government awarded the initial phase of project implementation and development to the consortium of state-run China Communications Construction and Macro Asia Corporation.
Walang gastos ng Philippine government, walang government guarantee, walang participation in any form sa equity. Ang local government lang ang nag-participate dito sa project na to.
Remulla says a connector road and train line will be added to the fully operational Sangley Point International Airport soon. The 1,500-hectare airport is expected to cater to over 100 million passengers and create at least 50,000 jobs. Remulla suggested that if all goes well, moves to retire NAIA as the country's major gateway may proceed.
The old NAIA should be converted into a national park kasi walang public space ang Metro Manila.
But the DOTR says we still have to wait and see.
NAIA will still be there because not everything that is in NAIA can be transferred here. What this is doing is it is providing an option, a choice.
A bigger concern now is tackling proposals for reclamation in the new airport.
I will only allow maybe plans of whatever reclamation if it is in connection with a government project. I will not allow massive reclamation.
Tugari says he will have to convince the president to consider the idea first.
Kailangan kung anong sabihin ng presidente, sundin natin. At kung makukumbinsi naman siya at makikita yung kahalagaan ng reklamasyon, at the same time, balancing the requirement of nature and balancing the requirement of environment, hindi ba kailangan silipin at bigyan pansin din yun?
Meanwhile, the Cavite government is ready to provide new housing for those who will be affected should the proposed reclamation push through. For News 5, Ria Fernandez, We Are One News.
A transgender woman was accosted by two policemen last Friday night after being suspected as a prostitute in Makati Avenue. But she said and her friends insist she's not a hooker but a call center agent. Here's the story.
It was supposed to be a regular day for Anne and her friends last Friday, February 14. They just got off their shift as call center agents in Makati, ready to finally celebrate the Day of Hearts with their loved ones, when suddenly two policemen stopped them in their tracks.
Personal right namin to. Personal right namin to. Alam namin yung rights namin, te.
The police wanted to bring Anne to the station, but her friends were quick in her defense.
Bakit niya siya kukunin? Wala kaming atraso, kuya. Oh, pero bakit? May oras kami, kuya, pauwi kami.
The officers explained that Anne was reported by 3 other trans women who were first brought in the police station for alleged prostitution.
Paano niya naging kasama yun?
Kasama namin niya, gusto niya puntahan natin yung trabaho namin, dyan lang.
In the end, the police gave up and let the group go. Anne says she's aware that there are a lot of transgender prostitutes in the area, but was dismayed that she was mistaken for one.
To be honest, kasi sa Makati Avenue, nandun naman po talaga maraming nagtatrabahong lalaki, babae, bakla as a prostitute po. And then, alam ko naman yun, pero ang ayaw ko lang po is, at saka masyadong ano lang sa akin is, yung pati ako pagkakamalan as a ganon. Sana, okay kung ganon yung itutos sa kanila, pero sana wag naman sana nilang lahatin.
The Commission on Human Rights has already stepped in and promised to look into the incident, but Anne simply wants to let it go since she understood the need for stricter protocols in Makati Avenue against prostitution.
Sana last na yun sa akin mangyari kasi ayoko naman sana nang tumating pa na may isa pang katulad namin is magreklamo or susunod na buwan or taon, bawal na huminga lahat ng transgender.
And as of today, the Makati Police has yet to give a statement regarding the incident. For News 5, Patricia Mangune, We Are One News.
The candidates for the first ever Miss Universe 2020 have been named. 52 stunning Filipinas from all over the country were introduced at the Manila Hotel on Friday, along with the pageant's national director, Miss Universe 2011 third runner-up Shamsi Supsup. Now, this marks the start of a new era as Binibining Pilipinas has let go of the Miss Universe franchise in the Philippines after more than 50 years. Despite the change, the Miss Universe Philippines organization is hoping that Gazini Ganados will attend the coronation night in the Mall of Asia Arena on May 3 to pass the crown to the next title holder. But these changes definitely won't stop this year's frontrunners from going all out.
We have 3 months, so the good thing about Miss Universe is that they're gonna give us some Q&A lessons, they're gonna give us catwalk lessons, they're gonna empower us to be our best selves.
I'm so honored to be representing Quezon City first and foremost once again, to be with my family of aces and queens once again, and to be the pioneer batch of Miss Universe Philippines. I mean, I can't explain it. I'm just really excited and looking forward to everything to come.
I just want to put out positive narratives about farming kasi all I can see online is about how sad the farming situations are. Pero as a young individual, I want to make it more fun. I want to visit farm tourism sites, get to know more women who are into farming, and definitely encourage everyone to be part of the agriculture.
And that's how today is shaping up to be. Join us again next time for another round of Rush. I'm Riza Diaz. We are One News.